So the average soccer player runs about 7 miles per game. This is basically running 125 touchdowns back to back. In a single 90-minute game, you can expect a soccer player to run about 80 times. Full sprint. Full sprint, people. This is not just jogging. Now, when we compare this to other sports, let's say the NFL. NFL players run about 1.25 miles per game. And to put that into perspective, that's basically running the length of a baseball field. That is it for the average NFL player. So the issue that I have is, knowing all of these statistics, a lot of people go out of their way to hate on soccer. They call this sport talentless.
Soccer? Can't stand soccer. The least talented sport on earth.
And today I want to take this time to really show you guys what it takes to be a soccer player. I'm going to compare you to the average soccer player so we can understand how difficult it is to actually play this sport. Let's get into it. Now, the usual soccer hater is usually short in the view of women and extremely fat and obese in the view of strong, empowered men like myself. Now, your average soccer player is obviously the opposite of this. They're usually more handsome than you 100% of the time. They're taller on average, which is weird considering that the GOAT himself is indeed a midget. But soccer is more than just the physical attributes. Soccer is a game that is meant to be played in a beautiful manner. And that's what leads us on to our next point. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I first want to talk about the mentality that it takes to play the beautiful game. When it comes to other sports like the NFL, we do see passion, we see grit, we see people doing things that is almost alien-like to most of us. Same thing can be said with the NBA. We see great players, talented athletes, all come together to show the world that anything is possible. But here's where it gets weird. When we talk about soccer, we see a game that combines everything, that combines the totality of athleticism, decision making, strength, awareness. Everything that it takes to be an athlete to the core can be done on a soccer pitch. And I will actually speak from personal experience. I played soccer for most of my early life, and that actually prepared me to go out and play other sports like basketball and even football. My friend Riley would tell you that I route everybody up because I'm the GOAT.
And his name is John C.
Hell no.
I know I speak to a lot of Americans on my channel and they play most so basketball and NFL football, so you might not understand where I'm coming from. But here is how I can make it simple. When we take a look at mentality from a soccer player's point of view, it's all about discipline and being strong. Because as a soccer player, you have to be able to play an average of 75 to 80 games per year. This is an absolutely insane amount of work that these guys have to deal with every season. You can actually see it in the faces of some of the players. It's insane. And the saddest part of this whole thing is how the workload can actually ruin players' careers, because we saw the impact of this happen with a player like Neymar, whose career was derailed because of constant injury and overplaying. This is constantly happening in the sport, and players nowadays have to find ways to work around it. And you can say, yes, this is happening in every sport, but we have to realize that soccer players are playing a game for 90 minutes straight on a big ass field. That makes things 10 times more difficult for a person. So yeah, mentally you have to be prepared to work your ass off every game and run as much as you can every single game 80 times a season just to be a professional soccer player. And I would say most of y'all ain't doing that, bro. Let's be honest. And guys, just a little bit of life update, okay? I actually graduated college and I was able to start my new job, guys.
You talking about?
I know I'm a big guy now, it's crazy, but I want to at least let you guys know that things are happening in my life. Also, thank you for 7,000 subscribers. Yay! Yeah, man, over the last week, you know, me and my girl went on vacation. We vibed a little bit, man. We're about to move in together. Your boy is doing big things, and you guys have been supporting me throughout the way. Hopefully, we can grow the channel as we grow career-wise. This ain't full-time. This is fun and we're gonna have fun together, man. Let's get back to the video. Now, this segment's warmly into our next point, and this is about discipline and routine of the soccer player. Now, when we take a look at a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo, he eats about 6 tailored meals and take 90-minute naps daily just to optimize his strength. This is according to sources on the internet, but I'm sure Ronaldo does a lot more than that. But yet again, this is another example of how much work it takes to just be a professional athlete, especially a professional soccer athlete, where your cardio, speed, agility, everything has to be at the highest level just to perform at your best. And not to dog on one of my favorite sports, which is NFL football, but I think it's a lot different when you have to prepare for one position, like a running back, for example. Saquon Barkley only has to worry about the movements of a running back. But then you take a look at a guy like Kylian Mbappe, who has to do basically everything. Yes, he's a forward, but he has to train basically every part of his body. He gotta be prepared for everything. He has to defend. He doesn't do that well. We know. He has to dribble, he has to shoot, he has to stop on the dime, he has to do everything. And that's a theme when it comes to talking about soccer as a sport in general. It encompasses every part of your athletic profile. And some of these people don't even know that soccer players can be ripped. When you take a look at a guy like Adama Traore, who proves everybody wrong by being an absolute peanut on the soccer field. He's built like a running back, but is controlling a ball with his foot, being aware and actually smart. This is something you don't see in other sports, especially the American ones. Having muscle in America means that you have less brain cells than the average human being. But no, not in soccer. Being muscular in soccer doesn't take away from your ability to be creative and just very technical. So how do these guys do it? Running this much should not be this easy, but yet they do it while you sit on your couch and call them talentless and call their sport boring and say that scoring 3 goals on a big net don't mean anything.
Now, untalented you have to be to score 3 points when the net is this big?
Some of the dumbest argument you'll make against soccer, and it actually gets me mad, bro. 3 touchdowns is worth 21 points. 3 goals is only worth 3 goals. That's not soccer's fault, my boy.
The NFL, it is also low scoring, but they just make up points. It's not 21-14, it's 3-2.
So physically, you're not even 100 miles close to a soccer player in terms of cardio, physicality, or anything in between. But here's the thing. Physicality is cool. Mentality is cool. What really though sparks my interest is the dinero, the money, the new soccer age of bread. Soccer is actually gaining more and more money every year, guys. It's insane. And I want to save you guys the disrespect. We're not gonna compare salaries because that just makes 0 sense. But when you take a look at how these young players in soccer are getting paid so much money, it's just crazy to me. These guys are on average making about $62,000 a week. A 16-year-old like Lamine Yamal could actually earn $1 million per week, y'all. What the fuck are you doing with your life, my boy? Quit your 9 to 5, be a degenerate, play soccer, or like just run for 90 minutes, bro. Run for 90 minutes, you'll make it. But yeah, the reason why we talk about how wealthy these guys are is because of how special they are. Now, I actually want to compare the chances of making it to one of Europe's top 5 leagues as a professional soccer player. It's actually a lot more difficult than most of y'all think, because you have about 250 million active worldwide soccer players, and a total of 2,400 of these players actually play in Europe's top 5 leagues. That makes 1 in 104,000. That's higher than the NFL and pushed into the NBA level. That is insane to me, okay? So instead of going out there and hating on the sport, I hope this video actually made you guys see how great this sport is and how special soccer can be. If you take your time to understand the game and fall in love with it, I assure you, you're gonna enjoy your time. And by the way, support PSG. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye-bye. Mwah.